Hi, this is the herb and cheese omelette for the Fill My Belly unit of work that I'm going to do. To save video time, I've done some of my preparations before I started the video. So I've already put one egg. You'll see the recipe asks for two, but I've put one into a bowl already. I'm just going to crack in the other egg into that one. Get rid of my eggshell. Now you can either use a fork to whisk up your eggs. Oh, sorry, I showed you a spoon. You can either use a fork to whisk up your eggs or a balloon whisk. And a balloon whisk looks something like this. Okay, so I'm going to use a balloon whisk today because it's the last thing I put out. Stab my yolk and I'm just mixing up the egg first just to make sure that that's all completely mixed before I add some other ingredients. Now the trick to doing a really good cheese omelette, or any omelette rather, is having all your ingredients ready before you actually start cooking and have everything good to go. So I've already grated my cheese, as you can see. I've chopped some chilli, which I'm going to put into the omelette just to give it that really extra bite. I've got my chopped parsley, which is the herb I'm using for this recipe. You'll see that there is chives as well. I didn't have any chives, so I'm going to use a Middle Eastern spice blend and herb blend called Za'atar, Z-A-A-T-A-R, and I've got it just on the spoon there. You only need that much because it is quite a strong flavoured spice and herb mixture. Of course, I've got my salt and pepper and milk. So the milk is the second thing to go into your egg mixture. 1 tablespoon in there. And then you add your parsley. As I said, everything gets added except the cheese into this mixture. And I'm going to put in, to season well with salt and pepper, but basically everything that just be very careful when you do that, knocking off the herbs off that knife. It's a very sharp knife. Knives always go sharp end into the chopping board for safety. And my za'atar. So everything is in my bowl and I'm giving that a really good whisk. Wow, looks good. It's good already and it isn't cooked yet. So I'm just going to let that sit just for a minute while I switch on my stove. Oops. And when you switch on your stove, you have to be very careful. I've got that up at a high heat and I've got my 5 grams of butter already in there. Just before I start cooking, I will also turn on the exhaust. Didn't want to turn it on just now because I don't want you to get blasted through the video with nothing but exhaust. So as soon as you're finished with any perishable products, so milk is a perishable item, so it goes straight back into the fridge, as does the butter, which I've already put back in. I'll put the eggs back in the fridge, and of course the cheese goes into the omelette. So I am just waiting for my butter to melt, keeping an eye on the stove at all times. And the cheese I used was the Bega Strong and Bitey. Again, I like a lot of flavour. You can use just normal cheddar cheese or any other hard cheese like that that you prefer. And I can hear my butter starting to sizzle. So I'm just going to take my egg mixture over, have my plate ready, because as I say, once you've got all your preparation ready to go, it's really quick to cook. Now I'm just going to show you what the butter melted looks like, completely melted. Let that get hot, and I need to put some salt and pepper into my omelette. And you can see that the butter has started to bubble just a bit. There's a bit of a mix in. Now because I'm using a non-stick pan, I'm also using a non-stick spatula, so be very careful. Pour it all in once your pan's hot. and start to move the egg around as soon as it starts to dry on the edges. Start to just move it around the pan, like so, and bring it in from the edge. It's very quick, as I say. I like to keep the pan moving with both hands. Now, when it's gotten to this point, where you can actually start to move it just a little bit on the pan, you add your cheese onto that. Just spread out your cheese just a little bit. Remember, I've washed my hands completely before I started. I've got my sink filled with water ready to put all my dirty dishes into, and I should be able to move my omelette freely in the pan. Again, that's if you're using a non-stick pan, that will be easy. So you just roll it onto the pan and just ever so gently fold your omelette over. Okay, now you notice I needed 2 hands for that, 2 hands to do everything. That's why it's very important to get all your ingredients ready. Pop my parsley on top for garnish, making sure, switching off the stove. And I did forget to put the exhaust on, but it all happened so quickly, it really doesn't matter. So there you go, that's Miss Mackenzie's lunch for today. That's your herb and cheese omelette. So always remember, when you're uploading your videos, make sure you've got your apron on, your hat on, your hands are washed, and you are presenting the final product.